Hey doc, I know this is a strange question, but can you get surgery for a different penis if you don't like yours? All of you have been tweeting me right and left with the most interesting questions. Fair warning, this could get a little weird. All right, let's dive right in. Is it true that in boys, higher amounts of acne means higher amounts of testosterone? Testosterone causes an increased production of sebum. So the more sebum you have, the higher chances you have of it clogging your pores, thus causing acne. So the biggest things you want to make sure is, washing your skin, because it's not just the sebum that gets clogged. It's dead skin cells, it's dirt, it's debris, all these different things. If you're having significant amount of acne, please see your doctor, your healthcare provider. They can actually help give guidance and even medications to get you over the hump of overproduction of sebum. Hey, this is pretty weird, but I chew a lot of foam. Every time I see foam, I just chew on it because it's satisfying for some reason. But there's one question. Can there be like an infection or side effect? Yes. Foam we should not eat. It's not nutritious. It can cause a bezoar in your abdomen, which is this big ball, which then can cause bowel obstructions. It can also decrease absorption of nutrients of the food that you're actually eating. We have sneakers, right? The sneakers are made of foam. If somebody actually gets stabbed with a nail through their foot and causes a break in the skin, we actually cover these individuals with antibiotics because there's a higher probability that Pseudomonas, a type of bacteria, actually lives in these types of foam. Short answer, yes. You can get infections and it's not good for you. Hi, so I have a cringe and embarrassing question. Is it bad that I've never experienced a true orgasm? It is a part of the population that have never had an orgasm. It typically has to do with underlying medical conditions such as like diabetes or anything that would decrease blood flow to certain areas. It could deal with anxiety, depression, or any mental health issues. It could be dealing with nutrition, sleep, stress. Obviously, there are hormone levels that need to be checked, different blood counts, all just to make sure everything is fine, to try to figure out what the underlying condition is that causes it. So you're not alone out there, but there are ways to figure out why, and if there is a why and it's identifiable, then you can treat it and work on having your orgasms in the future. Hey doc, I know this is a strange question, but can you get surgery for a different penis if you don't like yours? Yes is the easy answer, but maybe not because you just don't like yours. Typically, it's related to people who have had traumatic injuries or post-cancer patient where they had to have surgery, people who have severe micropenis. These are some of patients that are eligible to have a penile transplant. But then getting a donor is very hard as well because it's not kind of like one of the checklist items on the DMV donor card of what organs you would donate. So that becomes very difficult. Is it possible to go blind if you play video games too much? So there's actually something called computer vision syndrome, literally, because we have so many devices out there now. All the strain has to do with like lighting, not blinking, having dry eyes, staring at something for a long time, having the blue lights hit your eyes. So you need to make sure that you stand up, walk away, blink, take a break, give your eyes different ability to like look at different depths and perceptions and making sure you don't get dry eyes. Could you go blind? Probably not quickly, but you're going to cause a lot of injuries and ailments and discomfort to your eyes, which over long term, if not addressed, could significantly impair your vision. Can I stick a rod up my silly rod to put semen back in it like a musket? Don't do that. It is now exposed to the outside world. Sperm only live for a certain period of time on surfaces, as well as you're increasing the risk of introducing infection. It's not going to go back to the right place. You're going to attempt to shove this in, which you won't, and it'll go into your bladder. And then you increase your risk of getting something called cystitis, which is inflammation of the bladder and cause an infection. And then you potentially can cause pyelonephritis, which is infection of the kidneys if it travels up the ureters. Do not stick anything in that shouldn't go in there. Hello, doctor. I have one question. Here, I have red stripes on my belt due to obesity. Do I need to go to the hospital or is it okay? Stretch marks are actually scar tissue. This could happen for multiple different reasons, not just in obesity, but it has to do with rapid change in skin stretching. During pregnancy, weightlifters can get it. Once they occur, they're just like any other scar. You can't really just make them go away, but you can reduce how they look by different medications, ointments, gels, and actually sometimes there's plastic surgeons that can do a different type of surgery. But the biggest thing to do is try not to get them and try to reduce the amount of stretching that we do of our skin in a quick period of time. Theoretical question. If Jesus turned all the water in someone's body to wine, how fast would they succumb to alcohol poisoning? All of a sudden, if you change all the water in your body to alcohol, you're gonna stop all of the normal processes, the chemical reactions that are going on in your body, because H2O, the hydrogen and the oxygen particles that are in there, have charges, and so the charges are going to be different than what with alcohol would be, just relating to ethanol, and it'll become quite toxic. Typically, alcohol poisoning takes time to occur, hours to days, versus probably seconds to minutes if all of a sudden I just became one big glass of wine. If I absorb all that alcohol into my whole body, it causes organ dysfunction, which then it will stop the other processes and I won't be able to function. The normal conductivity of my heart will stop. I'll go into a weird arrhythmia and die. Hello, I wanted to ask you, does consumption of alcohol destroy muscle cells? And in general, does alcohol affect muscle growth? And is it bad when trying to build muscle? But what does alcohol do to your body? It causes dehydration. It inhibits protein synthesis. So when you build muscle cells, you need protein to build. So if you're inhibiting the synthesis of protein, you're inhibiting the growth of muscles. Potentially mess with insulin resistance as well, which has to do with growth of muscle. Your body prioritizes the metabolism of alcohol over the metabolism of your other macros, including fats and carbohydrates. So you're then actually probably going to be adding more fat to your body. Why is one eye 144p while the other is 4K crystal clear?
To the left. All right. Whatever.
It could be glaucoma, it could be cataracts, it could be a tumor in the eye. These are just a few things that this could be without understanding or knowing. It might be that you just have one eye that is not as good as the other, but you need to investigate what it could be before just saying, oh, I'm fine, I just have a crappy one eye over the other. Go see an ophthalmologist, go see an optometrist, go see your primary care doctor and get this taken care of ASAP. Do you know why my poop sometimes glows purple? If it's glowing, we need you and Homer to get to the doctor because glowing shouldn't happen, glowing radioactive. Weird. Purple, most common, is probably most benign and some sort of food additive or food dye that you've eaten. I've been doing this long enough to know that people actually don't describe colors well either. So purple could also be maroon. Maroon would actually be probably blood. So you can having some sort of hemorrhaging or bleeding within your GI tract and your intestines. So you need to see your doctor and actually get that tested. It's a super easy test. So we just take a quick sample of your poop, put it on a card, there's a dye, and it'll tell us if there's something called occult blood. Sometimes purple could also be a close color of black, which again, could be related to a medication that you took, or it could be blood. So great questions. I love these questions. Obviously, this is for your education, but also your entertainment. If you're having these true medical issues, you need to go see your doctor and healthcare provider. If you guys enjoyed these questions, definitely check out this playlist right here. Lots more education in there. And as always, make sure that you subscribe, turn those bell notifications on, and hit that like button for me. Thank you so much for watching and stay healthy, my friends.